worthy one. I'm a firm believer that at some point, our life will reflect our habits. So I want you to ask yourself this question. When you look at your life, is your life the way you want it to be? Is the reflection that you see in your mind about your life, is it looking like the life that you truly want? Because if it's not, today we're going to talk about how to change your habits so you can develop the life that you want. What's up, it's Gene. This word to be great. So the other day I was looking in the mirror and I was reflecting on my life, and I was thinking about the fact that the life that I had when I was in the hood, the person that I was, is night and day into the person I am today. And the reason that happened is because of habits that I've, learned over the years that have helped me. So what I'm going to do is share with you the 7 habits that help change my life. 1, develop radical ownership. As I said in previous videos, that forgiving my daddy was a great decision. You see, right before I forgave my daddy, it was right after I got cut from that basketball team. And what I did not say is why I got cut. You see, the previous year, they gave us workouts we need to do over the summer. But what I did over the summer is I was lazy. I slept on the couch. I played video games. I ate bad. I didn't do anything that would allow me to be able to be on that basketball team. So when I got back to the school, I was cut. And that was all my fault. I looked myself in the eye and say, Gene, you got cut from that team because you was lazy. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. Your coach gave you all the workouts, all the things you were supposed to engage in, but you chose to be lazy. Now, what that radical ownership allowed me to do is that summer after I got cut, I did those workouts. I ate right. I hit the weights. I built up my body. I developed a skill. And the next year, I earned my spot back on that basketball team. You see, radical ownership is something you can adopt to your life. It's a habit that you need to adopt because what it's going to allow you to do is get rid of the blame, get rid of pointing fingers at others, and take radical ownership of your own decisions, and that will allow you to change your life. 2, practice empowering self-talk. I was the worst about negative self-talk. I used to tell myself all the time I wasn't good enough, and no matter what I did, I was destined to fail. And you probably in that same situation. You have all this negative thinking, these thoughts going on and on in your mind that are telling you that you cannot be successful. See, in order for me to break those negative thinking patterns, I use a psychological technique called cognitive restructuring. And the way I used it is I restructure my thinking with an empowering affirmation. Hey, come on now, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so every week you are alerted every time I post a new video. And so the affirmation I came up with was, I was raised in a single parent home because my father left when I was 11 years old. We was poor, but I didn't let welfare define me or confine me to poverty. Instead, it inspired me, and that's why I stand in my confidence today. This empowering affirmation I use on a daily basis, and I also put it on index cards that I would carry in my wallet. I had them in my car, and I say it over and over again. And because I did this over and over again, I was able to break those negative thinking patterns. See, whatever negative thinking patterns, the things you're saying to yourself, that negative self-talk, if you want to be able to change your life, you have to break them. So I want to encourage you to use your own cognitive restructuring. Come up with an empowering affirmation that you can say on a daily basis. Write it on index cards and put it in places that can remind you to stay positive. 3, self-acceptance. I think self-acceptance is so hard for us. We focus on all the negative traits about ourselves instead of saying to ourselves, you know what? These things about me are me. I'm going to embrace it, and it's just a part of who I am. When I played college basketball, my teammates used to make fun of me all the time because I'm going to just keep it real. I am known as a square and I'm a nerd. I'm not a guy that, doing all these things that probably be cool for other people. I'm that guy that likes to just read books. And my teammates used to always say to me, Gene, we about to go to the club. We about to go party. You need to come with us. You need to live a little bit. Why you just want to sit in there, man? You are weird. And I used to feel this pressure that I had to, be like they wanted me to be. But I knew in my heart that's not what I was. I wasn't a partier. I'm a straight up nerd. I'm a square, and I'm okay with that. So I start to accept myself, and by accepting myself, it allowed me to educate myself. And the funny thing was, all my teammates that used to make fun of me, they used to come to me to help them with their work, to tutor them. See, you have to accept yourself. No matter who you are, you have to accept who you are. The things that other people may make fun of. Maybe it's your quirks, your smile. Maybe it's your sexuality. I don't know what it is, but you have to accept yourself. Because when you get in the habit of accepting who you are, you won't feel the pressure of others to be something that you're not. So get in the habit of accepting yourself when people criticize you. Accept yourself when people judge you. Because by accepting yourself, it'll allow you to change your life and be the person that you want to be. Listen, I know changing your life is tough, and I know you want to be a disciplined person. You want to be confident. So I want to encourage you to get my premium ebook, Word to Be Great. It will help you to make those changes in your life so you can live the life that you desire. 4, reframe fear as a guide. During my freshman year of college, I was in my second class, and we was in this big auditorium filled with students. And the professor was up there telling us all the things we needed to do in order to be successful as a college student. And one thing he kept saying over and over again is that if you procrastinate, you're going to fail. Do not procrastinate. Now, I grew up in the inner city. I never heard of the word procrastinate before, so I didn't know what he was talking about. I raised my hand. I said, "Sir, is procrastination a word? What do you mean?" And all the other students started laughing. That moment right there was traumatic for me because I felt embarrassed, I felt humiliated, and it caused me to become afraid of speaking up in class. You see, the part of our brain called the amygdala, it is our fight and flight aspect of our brain. When we have emotional events like that, it will assign those events to the emotion that we felt. And because I felt the fear of being humiliated, the fear of being embarrassed, anytime I was in class and I wanted to ask a question or speak up, I didn't want to do so because my amygdala was telling me, you need to flee from this situation. Do not raise your hand because you're going to get embarrassed. And so what I realized over time is that fear was hindering me. And instead of allowing that fear to dominate me anymore, I want to use it as a guide. So I started thinking about my fear logically. And I realized, Gene, when you got laughed at as a freshman, you didn't die. You was able to keep going to class and you passed that class. And that logical thinking came from our prefrontal cortex. That's the front of our brain right here. It allows us to think of things logically. See, if you want to overcome your fear, you have to start seeing it as a guide. And that's what I did. I started thinking logically about raising my hand. I started thinking logically of the fear of speaking up in class. And that guide led me to developing the confidence to speak up in class. But that never would have happened if I did not reframe my fear as a guide. So whatever it is that you're afraid of, start seeing your fear as a guide to confidence so you can start taking the actions necessary to change your life. 5, trust your intuition. When I was growing up in the hood, one day one of my homeboys came up to me and said, "Gene, we know this store that's not too far from here. They have a safe in there. We want to break in it late at night." Now, I was broke just like the rest of them, but I said, you know what, man, I'm not going to do it because my intuition kept telling me something bad was going to happen. And my homeboys was making fun of me. They was pressuring me, and I almost did it, but I chose to trust my intuition. So my homeboys went down there, they broke into this store, and one of my friends, he kicked through this fiberglass, and when he pulled his leg back, a piece of it broke out in his leg, cut one of the main arteries to his heart. And they had to rush him home. And in the process, the police came. And when he got home, he was in the back of the truck bleeding. They had to call the paramedics so they could save his life. So the next day, he woke up handcuffed to a hospital bed. And I thought to myself, thank goodness I did not break in that store with them, because if I did, I also would be going to jail. You see, trusting your intuition is a great thing because when you can trust that quiet voice within that's whispering to you, that's telling you to take a certain path, it is there to protect you, not to harm you. So if you want to change your life, you have to start trusting your intuition. 6, taking perfect action. See, a lot of us, we get caught up in this analysis paralysis. We want things to be perfect before we take action. But in those situations, what you don't realize, there will never be a perfect time. You will never take perfect action. You just have to go out and do things messy so you can grow. When I was working my first speech coach, he was discouraging me from taking the speaking engagements that was outside of my comfort zone, but I felt inside that I could do it. So what I decided to do is ignore him and take imperfect action. Now, I never had put together a speech that was longer than 5 or 7 minutes, so I had no idea how to write a keynote. But I sat down and I said, you know what? I'm going to do the best I can. I started scribbling my notes down. I started trying to figure out how to do it. It was imperfect, but you know what? I said, I'm going to go up there and do the best I could. And I took that speaking engagement. It was in front of 300 people, the biggest crowd I ever spoke in front of. And I did the best I could. I felt confident up there. Now, at the end of the speech, they gave me a standing ovation. I felt great. My confidence went out the roof. But when I look at this speech today, I realized that speech was actually terrible. They just gave me a standing ovation because they didn't want to, kill my confidence. But here's the thing. By me taking that imperfect action, it gave me the confidence to speak more and more outside of my comfort zone. And my confidence has grown more and more over the years. I've spoken in front of thousands of people. I've created thousands of videos like this. But the only reason that happened is because I took imperfect action. And if you want to change your life, no matter what it is you want to do, you have to start taking imperfect action, because that imperfect action will allow you to build that self-confidence, that self-worth, and that self-esteem to change your life. 7, love yourself. Now, I know that sounds cheesy, and when you hear the term love yourself, you're like, oh, that sounds weak. But the truth is, it's not weakness, it's actually strength. Not too long ago, I was talking to this 19-year-old in the gym, and he was in pretty good shape. And as we was having a conversation, he told me that he wanted to start taking steroids. And I looked at him, I said, why would you want to take steroids as a 19-year-old? That doesn't make any sense. He said, well, I feel like I'm not big enough, I'm not strong enough. And I say, listen, man, you're making a decision that can have some harmful effects to your body. You're only 19 years old. You don't need steroids, just be consistent. And I want you to understand this. You have to start loving yourself for who you are. See, a lot of you like that 19-year-old. You're having a hard time loving yourself because you don't have a certain amount of money in your bank account. You don't have a certain amount of fitness. You don't have a certain amount of success. But the truth is, if you want to change your life, it starts with you loving you. These are the 7 habits that can help you to change your life. So start changing your life. Apply these habits. Go out and live your dreams. Because you are worthy to be great. If you like this video, I want to ask you to like and share this video. Also, join my Word to Be Great newsletter. This newsletter is designed to help you build your self-worth, your self-confidence, and your self-esteem so you can realize your dreams. So click the link below and join my newsletter today.